really bad news. Really bad news happened this Friday. I made a cherry pie with store-bought crust, and it was just not really. It was just not really a great store-bought crust. I was on Friday evening, right around 7 p.m.
You shitheel.
Yeah.
You fuck. It's so easy to make flaky pie crust as well. It's like 3 ingredients.
It was just a terrible feeling on Friday evening when to just get this news I would be using a store-bought pie crust. And it's all I've been thinking about this weekend.
Yeah, just thinking about that pie crust.
Weird smelling kind of store-bought.
Yeah, was distilled in plastic. It's got that sort of freezer burny taste.
Mm-hmm. The pie was pretty good. It was a cherry pie.
Yeah.
I kind of put a little too much cornstarch in it, so it was a little thick. Yeah,
a little thick. Like, how thick was it?
It's completely congealed now. It's not runny at all, which is, I guess, good. It's kind of very much like a diner cherry pie that I made.
Okay. It's like a cherry aspic you've got going on.
It would have. I did not have any.
Got a cherry gelatin.
I did not have any almond extract to supplement it with a little extra flavor, or perhaps orange zest would have been nice too. None of that. Just cherry, sugar, cornstarch, and a store-bought pie crust.
There you go. And agar.
Well,
put a lot of agar in it. Put a lot of Ruth Bader Ginsburg skin shavings.
Oh my God.
No.
What?
Can't do voodoo.
What?
Can't do voodoo with Ruth. We can't procure Ruth and do voodoo with her.
Ruth do?
What did Ruth do? That is the question. What?
A whole lot.
What the fuck did she
lot.
do? Is she very... how consequential is Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
Out of 10?
Yes, out of 10. If you were rating Ruth Bader Ginsburg's importance to history out of 10, I mean...
That's a hard one. That's a hard one. I think I'll just have to sort of take a seat somewhere else and just let someone who has more right to speak than me give out a number.
Okay.
Yes.
Me. 1. Fuck that hoe!
Damn.
No, she's dead. Don't make light of the dead. It's sad, but it was funny when Scalia was dead, I guess. But then it led to a whole bunch of problems.
Yeah, they should not let them die. I'm surprised they let her die, I would have imagined they would have not let her die, ever.
If adrenochrome actually existed, they would have been pumping it into this lady 24 hours a day. They would have been frightening children all over the place.
Does adrenochrome...
We can't frighten enough kids
does
for adrenochrome.
Keep you immortal, or I thought it just got you really high?
I think it's both. It has, it's like the spice, It's got, you can only do things on adrenochrome, It gives you more longevity.
Dune?
The spice from Dune, the melange. Dune is on the mind because of the trailer.
I couldn't even watch the whole trailer. I turned it off halfway through the trailer. I couldn't keep my attention.
You were pissed off at the... Okay, let's count the ways that you were pissed off at the Dune trailer.
Okay.
Let's... number one criticism, bad color palette. People are griping that it's a shitty... Yeah. It's Denis Villeneuve's classic. Everything is gray. Everything is one color. Actually, no, I like Denis Villeneuve's depressing color palettes in Enemy and Blade Runner 2049, where they're just yellow. Yeah. Everything is... And Coldplay. It was all yellow.
I got the blue light lenses on these new frames, on these new glasses, and I just have Coldplay in my head all the time because everything's yellow now. Oh, man. I hate new glasses. New glasses are torture.
I really...
Always.
Without irony, I still hate Coldplay to this very day. You know how everyone hated Nickelback because it was the thing to hate Nickelback? I feel like Coldplay also fell into this category to some degree because it's that shit's for pussies,
Yeah.
But yeah, still to this day, I believe that it's bad music. That it's bad for you. It makes your brain weaker when you listen to it.
And we need strong brains for what will come.
We need strong, powerful brains that do not listen to Coldplay.
We have to reform the Republic, and we need strong brains for this.
We need mighty, strong, muscular brains to flex. Like the abdominal muscles of so many polo players.
The courts with cheese?
Just pack the courts with a bunch of flaming bags of dog shit, and then all the jurists are stomping them out, and they're like, "Oh no, my jurist shoes are covered in feces."
Why doesn't the Supreme Court have a jury? They should have a jury where they pick 12 random Americans for every Supreme Court. It should just be
the Supreme jury. Yeah. I think the whole Ruth Bader Ginsburg thing has really brought revelation to the fact that lifetime appointments are very morbid when you have like a strong political agenda, when you have power that's very much concentrated in you, and the will of a political agenda on your back, because you're like the only effectual branch of government for getting stuff through for that political agenda.
I'm getting annoyed at the proposed changes to the Supreme Court because it's just like, okay, we're going to give up on fixing the real problem, which is Congress. So let's fuck with the branches like the branch that can't defend itself.
And also the branch that legalized abortion in the fucking 70s. Congress sure as hell wasn't going to do that. So.
Congress is the problem. And
yeah, to some degree, the judiciary, although, widely terrible, might be the most functional branch of the American governmental system, which is terrifying to think about.
Well, it's fun. I like that, what's-his-face, Brunig brought up Marbury versus Madison. That's always fun to see people initially be like, yeah, let's turn over Marbury versus Madison. And then they start to realize what kind of consequences that would have on everything.
Yeah. Sort of foundational shit. It's, that one piece of code that if you fuck it, Mario starts jacking off in front of
regressing.
Children.
We're going to just regress our way back into the Commonwealth eventually. Like, oh, the founders were wrong. Marbury versus Madison was wrong.
Dark Enlightenment. Everyone wants to go there. Everyone wants to go back to the medieval times. Medieval times, dinner and theater. That's what we want.
The one restaurant that has not conquered COVID because it conquered us all.
I think that would be... Okay, so imagine that you just lived in cities, but every city was a job, right? You had your city of electricians, and you all lived in castles. Your city was just giant buildings, And that's what the future is going to be. All the guilds.
Is Mario. The
future is Mario.
The city of plumbers, and it's just pipes.
City of plumbers, yeah. Yeah.
That'd be sick.
City of mushroom farmers.
City of underwater city. Always going to be at least one underwater city.
Yeah, that's what we should do. Is we should, instead of having countries, we should just have levels. We should just have different regions that you can go to, and those are your levels. Yes. Mario's been on the mind because I bought the Nintendo Switch Super Mario All-Stars 3D edition. Been playing me some Galaxy.
Wait,
which is a frustrating game.
Super Mario Galaxy is on the Switch now?
It's on the Switch now, along with Super Mario Sunshine and Super Mario 64, doing some advertising for Nintendo. They don't pay us. I'm just a fucking unrepentant Mario dick-sucking fanboy. Mario's on mine.
What about Galaxy 2?
No, they haven't done that yet, but presumably they're either going to release that independently or release it in another package of, like, All-Stars. This is 3D All-Stars 1, presumably. They still have a bunch of 3D Mario games that they can rattle off.
I wanted to play Galaxy. Maybe I'm going to get that. You successfully advertised it to me, bro.
There you go. I mean, Mario advertises. Mario's like fucking crack. It's a fucking... The mechanics of Mario, what make it addictive, is that the jumping mechanics and the fact that those afford you a lot of freedom within the environments that they design, and the ability to go about a platforming problem in several different ways. They solved the idea of what makes a 3D platformer fun in the very first fucking one, when they were like, no one had any fucking idea how, like, a 3D game could work and progress. They just invented that shit out of like whole fucking cloth in like a 2-year development span, which I think is fucking incredible. Fucking wizards down in Nintendo, you know? Fucking those guys. And Mario's movement from 1996 to 2007, from that progression over, it just remained unchanged. And still to Super Mario Odyssey to this day, he still moves very much as he did in Super Mario 64. Showing that fucking, they just got it right for 20 years. For 20 years, they didn't have to change it up.
You know, what was interesting is that one of the islands of Japan is now called Nintendo Island, and they all move like that on it now. So everyone moves. And that's how they trained the people to go clean up Fukushima nuclear disaster. They needed a band of Mario moving like people. So, and that's the only way they were able to clean it up, was jumping and bopping and ducking and throwing your hat and collecting the stars.
And the various mutated creatures, the Goombas.
Well, so what's the so in this Super Mario 3D All Stars? It's Super Mario Galaxy. It's Super Mario 64. What's the other one?
Super Mario Sunshine, the red-headed stepchild of the Mario 3D platformers, but also the one that I love the most.
You love it the most,
and the one that I played.
You love it more than your own family and your own flesh and blood.
I love it more than my own family. If there was a copy of Super Mario Sunshine and my dad and a hostage guy was like, I got one or the other, I'd be like, clearly the disposable video game copy. Please murder my father.
I'll take one video game, please. Thank you.
One video game for dad, please. But in my head, it's like, one dad equals many video games, potentially.
Wait a minute. This transaction is aleatory.
I've miscalculated. Yeah. Oh, my God. Frickin' Super Mario's a weird concept. It's a weird, including the movie. You ever see the movie?
What's his face? The Bob Hoskins?
Bob Hoskins, R.I.P.
I have seen some of that movie.
Bob Hoskins was cool. Bob Hoskins was a big labor guy. It's really funny to read his political opinions because you read them in the voice of Bob Hoskins or Eddie.
Labor as in English labor?
Yeah, English labor guy. He was he's like, you know those old crusty labor guys? We don't really have like old crusty Democrats in America. Like the image of a Democrat as we discuss are like a bunch of like prissy elites, essentially. Or like educated people. That and, you know, the black and Hispanic working class, which, you know, they're rapidly losing. Especially the Hispanic working class, my God, they're rapidly losing.
Did you see that article in the Times that was
conservatives?
Just about that. It came out recently.
No, about how they're rapidly losing Hispanic people to conservative ideology. How so?
I just saw the highlights. Let me see if I can pull up a summary of it. I had a summary.
Gusanos, some of the leftist. I can't say that. I mean, I just said that, but I wouldn't be able to call them a Gusano.
Summary. Give me one. Here we go. So this is from a New York Times article.
What are the Times saying? What's the old gray lady? What's the old
the number one thing
bitch?
Is Latinos, only 1 in 4 Hispanics see themselves as a group of people of color.
There you go.
So they prefer to see Hispanics as a group integrating into the American mainstream.
So they're trying to get enlightened.
So this is all I am literally quoting from the New York Times. So I'm
enlightenment.
That is not that is Alex is saying that word. I'm not saying that word. Okay.
Wait, they're not? Are they or are they not seeking enlightenment?
That's not a word that is written. I'm not seeing that word on my screen.
It's in the New York Times. That's direct quote from the New York Times.
Okay. So let's see. So the fact let's see. So our racial self-conception, as in white people, is not shared by a majority of Hispanics who seem to balk at understanding themselves as people of color under racist attack. Okay, so let me see. let's see what else they say. Democrats should call for Americans to unite against the strategic racism of powerful elites who stoke division and then run the country for their own benefit. This is not to deny the reality of pervasive societal racism, but it does direct attention away from whites in general and towards the powerful elites who benefit from divide and conquer politics. I mean, this is a classic.
Is this an opinion poll?
Let me see if I can find the article. This is just the yeah, it's an opinion article. This is just the sort of classic race versus class discussion that's been dominating the discourse for the past month or so.
It also dominates our discourse because I'm very much like a race matters more than you give it credit guy, and you're like a very much, or like, I'm more like identity plays a more important role. I'm not like throw out the whole identity thing whole cloth. You're a more fuck identity class, baby.
I think in terms of like political strategy, class is a better way to go.
Yeah.
But it remains to be seen. It's, both of us are relatively powerless when it comes to shaping the discussion. I have like maybe 52 followers on Twitter that...
Oh yeah. Also, just like I don't do shit politically. I don't act. I just want to make it clear that I am not holding myself to be correct. I mean, I am, because having a political opinion necessarily implies that you think you're correct.
Well, there's a difference between which one matters and what do you mean when you say matters? If what matters morally versus what is the political strategy to realize your ends, So I feel like it would make more sense to approach it from a class disparity point of view than a racial disparity point of view, in terms of achieving the political ends, which we would need to define also, which is like, what are the ends? What do we want? It's hard to agree.
Well, what do we want is pure fuck parties 24/7, How are we going to get to the pure fuck parties? Not like the fucking half-measure fuck parties. Not those fucking namby-pamby, 2 fingers in and you're out, fucking done by a Sunday, watching that new watching Chef's Table.
So you just want 100% hedonism all the time.
Yeah, what can we do? How can we make the fuck factories, is what I'm saying. How do we make the orgone projecting fuck factories? Is there the political will for that?
If it's a factory, then I would. If it's a factory you're after, my friend, then I.
You're right. We would ship all the fuck factories to China for cheap fucking, export it all here, and then in the Midwest, this city used to run on fucking, and now
the semen's all dried up now.
Now NAFTA, yeah. These Mexicans are fucking for pennies on the dollar. The average American fuck worker.
I mean, I don't know. My leftism chops are. I'm not even bothering with it anymore. I'm just reading history now. I finished my book about Washington. I'm starting a book about John Adams. So here we go, John Adams.
Here we go. Will he be as agreeable and charming as Paul Giamatti made him look in the HBO miniseries?
Well, apparently he's had a bad reputation as being sort of disagreeable or something. But David McCullough, the author, has rehabilitated it, and he's the one who the miniseries was based on.
Is that part of the founder chic genre, as I've heard?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. What you're speaking of is historiography. And the historiography of the founders, I was reading a great little summary of it.
Her historiography.
Oh, man. You just blew it up, man. You just blew it up. It's called.
But what about Abigail Adams' historiography?
The historiography. The historiography of the founders has actually flip-flopped throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, depending on societal changes. So I was reading about how in the 30s the conservatives were kind of anti-founder in their histories for various different reasons, and it has flip-flopped back and forth a couple of times as to which side is really pro-founder or not. And I thought it was very interesting. It kind of depends on who's in power at the time and who's using what for what ends. You know, of course, like when Lincoln, after they won the Civil War, there was a renewed interest in the founders and the Revolutionary War. And every time there's a war, people get interested in the origins of America. But I'm not sure if that happened with the Iraq War. The author, David Hackett Fisher, claims it did, but...
Like with the toppling of the Saddam statue, now we're toppling our own statues. Deep. Galaxy brains.
But, it's interesting. Various interpretations of history. It kind of made me realize that the 1619 Project is actually not so unique as a thing. Mm-hmm. There have been attempts to radically change how we interpret our history. Like there was a whole group known as the Debunkers because they were mad at how much the founders had been glorified, and it inspired an art movement. There was a guy that made sarcastic paintings of the daughters of the American Revolution sipping tea in front of a painting of Washington. It's
That's
funny.
Pretty good. Was this 19th
it's just
century
early
shit,
20th century stuff. Yeah,
early 20th century shit. Yeah, I think you should always have a healthy skepticism towards any authority figure. That much is true. But I think it's sort of balancing out. And something we talk about with the statues too. How much of recognizing someone's importance to history and importance to the progress of not shitty ideas do you take in response? How do you love them because of that, but while simultaneously not venerating them or not portraying them to be a godlike figure, which affects the history? I guess that's a very personal moral question. Is how do you reconcile the good with the bad? In a person.
How much you want to bet we get a statue of RBG?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Right away. How big will it be is the question.
It'll be larger than life, which means 6 feet.
It'll be sitting on Lincoln's lap. Just looking.
Yeah, in terms of statues, what do you think about the Lincoln
it?
Memorial? Should we take that down?
Yeah, I think that, further to my line about the last episode, I think big guys are fucking weird. Lincoln was a flawed dude. We should not have him as our god. There's so many jokes about, the Lincoln Memorial coming to life and destroying Washington.
That was a Simpsons gag, I think.
I feel like that if it wasn't a Simpsons gag, it might as well have been a Simpsons gag. There was I know there was one where Lisa and the Mrs. Lisa Goes to Washington goes to the Lincoln Memorial, but it's crowded with tourists, so she goes to the Thomas Jefferson Memorial, and the Jefferson Memorial just complains because he's ignored in favor of the Lincoln Memorial. So even the Simpsons had revisionist history. A little girl has lost faith with democracy.
If the Simpsons die, then we all die. We cannot cancel the Simpsons.
We cannot cancel the good Simpsons. Cancel everything after season 10. I don't care.
Fine.
But, there is a cipher for all of culture. The nexus of culture belongs in the Simpsons. Everything from past and future is there as a key. We shall build religions off of it. We already have. Most podcasts are just Simpsons podcasts with occasional politics references.
Is the name Mo short for anything? Like M-O-E?
It was implied in one episode that it was Momar.
Really?
Yeah, in the episode where Marge becomes a cop, Homer runs a background check. I can run background checks on anyone. Momar. Ixnay on the Omar, man.
Omar, mate.
Yeah. Also, in another episode, it was said he was Morris.
Morris, of course.
Yeah, I think that's sort of loose. I think the histories of Springfield characters are not necessarily canonical because they change it up every so often. Like the 90s, when the 90s episode when Homer and Marge were young in the 90s. And Homer was part of a grunge band called Sadgasm. Which is pretty funny,
Homer,
actually.
when was that?
For a late period. That was it's a late period Simpsons, and it's an episode that people hate. Because it's like, there's so many beautiful early season episodes which talk about Homer and Marge's relationship, and actually sort of weirdly paints an intimate picture of an impoverished young couple.
In the 70s, right? He was a teenager in the 70s.
In the 80s, yeah, or in the 70s. So Homer is like, when those episodes, Homer's supposed to be 36, which is funny.
In 1989, Homer's 36. Okay.
Yeah, but when those episodes aired, it would have been like 94. So let's say he was a high school student 20 years ago. So yeah, you're right, the 70s. Homer's supposed to be a high school student in the frickin' early 70s.
That's the vibe you get, because when he goes to work at the power plant, it's like after the whole power plant had been decommissioned, and then Mr. Burns comes along and recommissions it as like an attempt to revitalize the post-industrial wasteland that Springfield became.
I think I don't remember, but I bet like the nuclear power plant thing was sort of a 3 Mile Island reference. I guess because, in the 80s, nuclear fears were really reaching their head with Chernobyl. Yeah. But there was all this great, and the Toxic Avenger also comes out of that, where there's a lot of great, in the early 90s too, it's like so many Batman villains were just pushed into vats of toxic sludge, and that's how it happens, people getting mutated by industrial runoff.
I don't know. I think Chernobyl was so terrible to have affected our whole nation to be against nuclear energy, and because we don't use any of those shitty reactors. We built good reactors, and we could have had good nuclear energy. It's pretty carbon free.
Yeah, I mean, U.S. Genny engineer, they love nuclear energy.
The thing is that like Nevada has refused to let us dump all the nuclear waste in their state, those selfish, greedy bastards. Those
bastards. They're afraid of the desert mutants. The desert mutants. Oh no, the desert mutants. They're coming for the gamblers. We'll hold up in Reno.
Let's do a COVID trip to Vegas right now. Maybe this winter, fall, when it gets really bad again. I want to go get...
I don't know if I can cross the border.
You can cross the border, you just can't get back.
I can get trapped in America? Maybe I'll just quit my job and get trapped in America.
That's an old 15th century song.
Trapped in America.
Sorry, it was poor taste.
It was a slave joke?
It was a poor taste slave joke. Because they were singing.
Oh, that was a poor taste slave joke, as opposed to the really good taste slave joke.
Those are the ones about.
Man, I heard a really classy slave joke
about white slavery.
White slavery. What's happening with whites? What's a white slavery?
They're
joke?
Most like the Slavs. They're like their name.
Oh yeah. How can you tell which slavery is the white slavery? It's the slavery that likes mayonnaise on everything.
Is it true that the word Slav comes from the word slave and they're etymologically related?
I think that might be true. I'm not sure. I don't want to confirm. It sounds like a very QI thing.
Oh, man.
But I do think Slav and slave are etymologically related. You are correct. You could look it up and confirm. Or we could just spread misinformation, like fucking Joe Rogan saying Antifa started wildfires.
I love that they think the Antifa's going around
and then apologizing.
Starting wildfire. Why would they do that?
That's not their MO. Like Antifa, they're not really even the looters. Like the people that are like dyed in the wool.
They're not the looters.
Antifa.
The looters are just opportunists who
Yeah, they're just guys who are like, ooh, people are fighting the cops.
No, the Antifa are the annoying ones, in my opinion, who are being super, who are going around to the restaurants, in front of the restaurants, and heckling the restaurant eaters. Be like...
Have you? I've never... No, that's not true. I have met, because I did go to a couple of protests back in my day against Faith Goldie. And I interacted with a bunch of Antifa kids, and I get along with those because, there's something about a skinny, bespectacled, androgynous person in a half shirt with a megaphone that, I like this person, I could talk to this person. Some people are more put off by that thing. I think my dad is really put off by that.
We went to college with a bunch of them. All you have to do is just ask them if they like noise music, and then you can have a conversation for 30 minutes.
There you go. I mean, I like Antifa as an anti-fascist. Yes, of course, everyone is anti. I feel like when that's a very disingenuous thing when people say everyone's Antifa, Antifa just means anti-fascist, so you're Antifa, No, that's not true. It does have another meaning, It does have an organizational, specific, any means necessary attachment to it, which some people don't want to use any means necessary to fight the fascists, or fight or some people just straight up think that the fash does not walk among us.
I use exclusively rap rock.
Yeah. Man, it really worked out for Rage Against the Machine in disseminating their message. No people have mistaken Rage Against the Machine for anything other than leftist politics at all.
Yeah.
It's so funny when you meet, when you hear bros, singing. See, the problem, I diagnosed this problem as the good chorus problem. Rage Against the Machine's choruses are too generic and too good. They're not saying, Marx was right, man! They're saying, killing in the name of... I won't do what you tell me. Anyone can relate to I won't do what you tell me. There's no political...
What does that even mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't need to... Bulls on Parade, it's you could see that as an empowering masculine thing. Oh man, I'm entering the gym. My dick is hard. My pecs are hard. Fucking Bulls on Parade, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know what people who go into the gym. I think their dicks and pecs are perpetually hard. I
think. How does one's pecs? How are your pecs hard? I've never seen an erect.
He's just got perpetually hard pecs.
Well, my neighbor's a bodybuilder. I could go ask him. Hey, is your dick and your pec hard all the time?
Are your dicks and your pecs hard all the time? Are your two dicks hard? Alan Two Dicks. That's where his name comes from. Frickin' hard pecs. I need to start exercising. So that I just want to start exercising where I have a very strong upper body but still a gut. Sort of embracing my dwarf qualities, my dwarven qualities.
Yeah, I think the government should make it mandatory for everyone to exercise.
That would be very good. That would be, you'd have the lazy police.
If you don't exercise, you go to jail. And we make jail worse. We make jail worse.
Thomas Sankara had tribunals for lazy workers in Burkina Faso.
I was not aware of that.
That's so Thomas Sankara, the utter G, the champion Thomas Sankara, right?
I don't know him that. I guess I thought he was an op-ed writer for the Times.
He was not an op-ed writer. Thomas Sankara basically is a guy you can point to say that socialism actually works, because through his use of socialism, he turned Burkina Faso around, from a total fucking backwater to a semi-functional country within 7 years. And then he was assassinated by the combined tribal and colonial leaders who he offended. I mean, he did a lot of incredible stuff for his country. Really improved women's rights a lot, improved education, improved wealth equality. But he also, because he was a very committed, sort of almost a tanky, one could say, sort of even a believer in sort of the Russian version of communism, he had sort of more authoritarian qualities than people would like. And so he had tribunals for lazy workers, for people that would not commit. So that's one way to... So, when people say, capitalists say that there's no... Well, if we don't have money, why will people work? You forgot about violence, capitalists. You forgot about a guy poking another guy with a bayonet. And we'll pay the bayonet-poking guy.
Yikes. I don't think I would like to live in a place with lazy worker tribunals.
No, I would get sent away right away.
But I bet if we had... Anti-fart tribunals would be pretty popular in my household, I think. I think I would be held... Oh, my
God. I could not
would
survive
be held
those.
Very guilty if there was an anti-fart tribunal.
I couldn't eat cheese. I couldn't do anything. Couldn't eat ice cream. It's mostly dairy. I'm just trying to force the dairy issue. You ever have that? Are you lactose intolerant? No, I'm not, because
I have much Scandinavian blood, so I am not lactose intolerant.
There you go. I am. I got the Jew blood.
Yeah, that'll make you lactose intolerant.
Yeah, and we sacrificed too many cows, so the cow god made us unable to process dairy.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Which one's is it Vishnu? Who is it?
Oh, there is no. I don't know if there's I can't think of any cow god. There is a cow god, but it's not Vishnu. Vishnu is one of the Trimurti. Vishnu is one of the most powerful. Okay, I didn't know
cow
that.
of plenty.
I think. Okay, there you go. You should start.
The divine bovine goddess.
Cow of plenty.
Kamadenu, cow of plenty, the divine.
You're my cow of plenty, lady. Yeah.
She emerged from the churning of the cosmic ocean.
Hell yeah. Oh, man, Indian mythology is so great. It's all about, fucking. Everything's fucking. The sea is fucking. Grass is fucking.
Well, the Babylonian origin stories was the earth came out of a giant puddle of semen.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Puddle of cum. That's but cum is spelled with two M's.
She fucking hates me.
She fucking hates me. That sucks. Can you take it all away? What's Wes Scanlon doing right now, other than being addicted to meth?
I wish I was addicted to meth, living in a box,
I feel like the first 6 months of meth addiction are pretty good. You are getting more shit done than you would get otherwise. But then it takes a real steep drop off. I wish there was a way that you could have only the first 6 months of meth addiction.
There is. Just have a very strong willpower. You have great, really strong willpower. After 6 months of meth addiction, cut yourself off.
Yeah. I mean, various academics are addicted to speed throughout their careers. Erdos, you know about Erdos?
No, he sounds like a Vox contributor.
Maybe. Man, fucking... What is it with Vox? Why is Vox the fucking worst?
I don't know.
Fucking Matt Iglesias
isn't
the
Reason
fucking...
worse?
Yeah, well, Reason's libertarian, so they're already fucking clowns. So, but, Vox... the reason why I dislike Vox more is because it does appeal more to a general audience. It does have a good design, and it is sort of in, a BuzzFeedy, listically political format, which does have a very strong reach. And I think that... who's the editor? Ezra Klein?
I think that sounds right.
Yeah, I think whatever that guy is, he has a very good understanding of what gets the clicks and what gets the likes. Whereas Reason is specifically for its weird little audience. So I think, Vox is more insidious in that respect, in that it is more of a mainstream website. And people see it as being without ideology. In the same way that people see the New York Times as being without ideology. or the Washington Post. But what they do not recognize is the ideology is simply status quo. So I think that is the danger of Vox, and also why it's bad takes, more in proportion, I think, than the New York Times or WashPo, even though WashPo is owned by Bezos.
In French, it's Jeff Bezos. The S is silent.
Yeah, Vox has just more very dumb liberal takes. I guess that's not true. I guess New York Times employed Barry Weiss, but she was almost employed just to be their fucking, whipping girl. It's like, look, we gave this dumb bitch a voice. We're egalitarian. They gave the conservative voice to the dumbest conservative columnist on the planet.
Is she sort of conservative? I thought she was liberal except for Israel.
No, she's pretty fucking conservative. I mean, I guess is she pro-gay marriage? She's probably pro-gay marriage, right?
Knows? That.
I don't know. Ivana's pro-gay.
The
Ivanka
only
Trump
things
is pro-gay
that should
marriage,
determine your political compass are economic issues, not social issues.
Well, let's see. Let's see if I can think of a counter argument to that. I mean, the thing is you can boil everything down to an economic issue if you think about it hard enough.
That's neo-Marxism.
It's right.
It's not.
It's correct. It's
not correct.
You can't. No, I mean you can. Or the reason why conflict arises is because of a resource inequality, and I think that is generally true. In most cases, I think after that, I think why most conflict arises, at least in this society, when conflict arises between two forces that have conquered, resource distribution, then it becomes more about ideologically based conflict. But I think even, throughout history, stuff that seems like ideologically based, like the Crusades, is actually very economically based.
Oh, I have a big book on that. I'll have to. Let's footnote this topic because I have a 1,000-page book on the Crusades that I have got in my pile of books, and I will get back to you in several months
about whether the Crusades was more ideologically or economically driven.
It's down in my pile of books. You can't see it in the background, but I have amassed quite a collection of books on my to-do list to read. Ever since
ever
since quitting weed, now. I'm like, I can read books again, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna read every book ever written.
There you go.
I'll have all the knowledge.
There was time now. I had quit weed.
Well, weed just makes me want to browse the timeline and look at the news and just be like,
yeah, that's just awesome. What are you talking about? That's the best. You're saying that like it's a bad thing.
Stupid.
Oh my God, Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, dumb bitch.
What? I did never. That's something you said, not me.
Okay, I'll take for all the Bader jokes, for all the Bill Hader Ginsburg jokes.
Bill Hader.
Oh no, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
I mean,
died.
I don't think it's great to have a cult of personality with someone. I think that's why there's a minimal backlash happening, because people, I think, are just annoyed whenever there's a cult of personality around someone. But it's natural to have a cult of personality.
I think, yeah, I mean, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was not culturally significant.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, to give a number to your question of how important of a justice, I mean, she's very influential. And was she consequential with some things? She wrote some really good dissents. I mean, I guess I give her about a 6 in terms of...
Give her about a 6.
Most important Supreme Court judge, maybe 6.5 if we're going to go into the decimals.
Yeah, no Earl Warren.
I mean,
no fucking Earl Warren.
There have been more just consequential justices because of the arc of history and how it unfolds.
I would even say that Sotomayor is a more consequential judge than Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I don't know. Because she's Mexican.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah.
What are some good opinions she's written? I mean, how consequential is any... I'm not a legal scholar.
Kind of are.
You're
more of a legal scholar than I am. You have more years of law school under your belt than I do.
Yeah, but I don't have a specific history of the Supreme Court in mind. I know, like... I mean, the Warren Court is the Supreme Court to pay attention to, the one with Marshall on it, where it was... I think that's the Supreme Court that people have in their heads when they think about the egalitarian Supreme Court that was made up of people who, even though they were differing politically, except for Hugo Black, who is fucking weird. Or who am I confusing? Nah. See, I'm no scholar. Although I did like... My favorite all time was Stevens... Justice Stevens, because he would give out of left field wacky opinions. He was like the wild card. See, that's what we need on the Supreme Court. You need a wild card. You can't have a swing vote. You need like I am capable of anything guy. Who knows? You need a chaotic neutral Supreme Court. Instead of having it by political affiliation, we should have 9 Supreme Court justices, but a chaotic evil justice, a neutral evil justice, a lawful evil justice, etc., etc.
I would go have one justice of each religion. Because right now, it's just Catholics and Jews. It's kind of nuts.
You're right. That's all it's ever been. Same as it ever was.
No, it used to just be Protestants. Like before the Civil War, it was all Protestants.
Who we got Catholics? So we got Kavanaugh...
they're all Catholic except for Breyer and Ginsburg.
Kagan.
Nope, they're all Catholic. Yes.
Wait, Kagan's Catholic? Kagan's not Jewish?
They're all Catholic except for Breyer and Ginsburg. The one exception is Gorsuch, who was raised Catholic and has converted to Episcopalian, so he's basically Catholic.
Lame. Gorsuch. Why are these Catholics dominating jurisprudence? What is it about?
Catholics are extremely smart and powerful, and everyone has just been ignoring them. Where they have been teaching people because they are so pissed about abortion, they are seriously on a judicial mission, and have been since the 90s to work their way into the judicial system. And meanwhile, liberals are off being like, "Haha, Wakanda, yeah, let's learn about." Let's learn about fake shit that doesn't matter. And
meanwhile, the Catholic Church has already infiltrated Wakanda, and they're raping
meanwhile, the
young
Catholic
Black
Church has
Panther.
Infiltrated our judicial system up to the highest levels, and we're just being like, Ruth Conda, yes.
Yes, Ruth Panther.
And
get him, girl.
Every single Democrat who talks about Roe versus Wade is just being a useful idiot, because that is not the consequential decision to think about. It's Planned Parenthood versus Casey, and it's not taught in public schools, I don't think, at all. But it was drilled into me at Catholic school because it is kind of a wild opinion written by Anthony Kennedy, and it states that anybody has the right to determine the nature of their existence, which Catholics say is completely wrong. You don't get to determine the nature of reality. Reality is set.
You do not have
Correct.
Bodily autonomy. Divine right prescribes how we should live, and it is in this way. Can't give up a baby. It's alive, has infinite potential. By doing that, you kill God himself. Yeah, you know.
Attack and dethrone God is now the...
Yeah! Abort many babies, attack and dethrone God.
I saw the take on Twitter. Some people were like, I'm going to go have an abortion right now just to stick it to you while I still can. Like, that's the correct attitude.
That is the correct attitude. Have lots of abortions.
Apparently everyone on the Reddit, the subreddit Child Free is flipping their shit right now. They're like, get sterilized while you still can. They're going to turn it into Handmaid's Tale. And I can't... If I get pregnant, I'll kill myself. I just can't deal.
I don't know. I still don't think, even with a very conservative court, I think common law actually sort of helps in this instance. and also especially the almost psychotic obsession that all judges have with their reputation. I don't think you can... Yeah, if you do take the common law seriously, as all Supreme Court people do, no matter how ideologically conservative, you sort of have to respect that which has come before in a very serious, studied way. And those decisions in Casey and Wade are good. They're solid reasoning.
Has recently started the ball rolling on against that. I can't remember where it was. I'd have to do some research. But he has started the ball rolling on overturning previous court rulings. I'm not sure if they're going to try to repeal abortion law, but I think they might if they get another justice on, which they're probably going to do. I think. If you want to talk, maybe we should talk strategies. Because my opinion is
Trump says it's going to be a woman.
I think they're going to try to get someone through, but I'm torn on if they're going to try to do it before the election or after. Because in my mind, it makes sense to campaign on it because it'll help the Republican. If I was a Republican, I would campaign on doing it after the election.
Yeah, you wouldn't even be stalling it out that much.
But who knows? What do you think?
I don't know. I think it's worth it just to do it now and get it over with. Just because, what is the fear that who is the guy that Obama wanted to nominate, but then it couldn't because the Republicans stalled him out on it, and that's how we got Gorsuch. What was the name of that guy? Merrick Garland. Yeah. So we're not going to Merrick Garland. Pelosi's not going to Merrick Garland.
Pelosi has no power in this at all.
No, because it's the Senate's Republican, and so...
Pelosi's not in the Senate.
You're right. She's Congress Speaker.
Nothing.
So, yeah, what can the Democrats really do about this? They can't, really block this confirmation at all.
They have to offer some kind of deal. They have to come up with a political deal.
Yeah.
Like funding.
And they're not good at doing that. They have no leverage.
Maybe?
No, don't you still just they don't have to do it. Funding for the wall to not confirm this person, you don't just give somebody something to do something that they don't have to do anyway.
The alternative is the threats to pack the court. But here's my thing. If the Republicans get it through before the election, then the motivation for conservative turnout kind of goes down, and the motivation for liberal turnout goes way up. So if you string it along until after the election, if you say you're going to do it after the election, like we'll do it once we win and we get a mandate, then you'll pump up the conservative turnout. That's why I think they're going to wait to do it. But I don't know. Trump wants to do it now, I guess, because he can't hold anything back, but he should.
See, where I disagree with that is I think he's already got the Republican base locked. I don't think the idea of him shedding people from the previous excitement of his previous election, I don't think is really true. At least not the people that will like the single issue Republican voters, like the anti-abortion voters or like the crazy low tax voters, You're never going to get them to vote against Trump in any respect.
I don't know.
So
I think some of the abortion voters are, before this, may have been kind of for Biden. They think Biden is, maybe going to be at least moderate on abortion because he's Catholic and previously against the Hyde Amendment, even though I think he's now for the Hyde Amendment.
Man, all those people that were scared of Kennedy were absolutely right. The Catholics did overtake.
Well, what's funny is that if Trump nominates a Catholic justice, the Democrats will have to be very moderate in their anti-Catholic rhetoric because Biden is Catholic. So, it's a
man. I never thought I'd see the day where the Pope was dominant of these papists. These guys, I am half Catholic. I love Catholicism, actually.
It's not an ethnicity.
I know. I'm a half Cath, double latte. But I do love the culture in the same way that I am culturally Jewish. I would also say if being culturally Catholic were a thing, because Catholicism through its unique psychosexual pain and pleasure points, creates very unique art and people. The Sagrada Familia, what is potentially one of the greatest works of human art, could not have been accomplished without, a priest laughing at Gaudi's penis for, all of these years of his childhood. Ha ha ha, your penis is so tiny, I diddle it. And then now we have the Sagrada Familia. Oh no, Senor, I have to become architect now. This is bad. It's bad, no do it. And that's how we got the Sagrada Familia. Thanks, Catholicism.
Well, I was seeing, have you ever read Rerum Novarum?
Rerum Novarum.
No, Rerum Novarum. Oh, it's UM at the end of both. Rerum Novarum.
Is that Dave Navarum's brother?
Yeah, no. It's like the Catholic papal bull against capitalism. Yeah,
papal bull
predates the Communist Manifesto, I believe. So Catholics always like to. Yeah. It doesn't predate. It's roughly at the same time, but it is.
Which pope? Which pope
Leo
decreed
the
it?
13th. It's
Leo.
It's on capital and labor of men, and it's about the misery and wretchedness pressing so unjustly on the working class. It supports the rights of labor to form unions, but rejects socialism and unrestricted capitalism, while affirming the right to private property. So it's kind of...
So it's sock dem. Yeah, they're sock dem.
Well...
that's funny. I mean, we believe it is the papal decree that social democracy is best of both worlds. We like markets where we can get fast and furious blue.
They have the easy way out.
In communism, no fast and furious blue.
They have the easy way out, which is like you don't have to rely on whatever the hell it is that Marx relies on as the dialectic as a method of attenuating things. Is that sort of a correct interpretation?
So
because they just have God. You just have God.
You're saying that through Marxist philosophy, the main epistemological feature is gaining knowledge through dialectic, i.e., you say a thing, then they say a thing, and then together we come to a better thing.
Right, and that's how you sort of attenuate the excesses of it, or the bad things that tend to happen.
Yeah, that's how you cut the cream from the chaff to get the wheat from the chaff.
Catholicism doesn't have to have that. You just have to go to confession if you do something bad,
Oh, there you go.
You just confess.
There you go. That's all you have to do. But it is sort of a conversation with an authority figure. There is a dialectical aspect to confession in that, while the priest is not offering anything, they are offering, a response to your confession, which is sort of a dialectic. It doesn't work. You can't do a confession in a vacuum. Specifically, someone has to listen and respond and sort of ask. I think confession is great. I think it's like a very powerful... You know why confession is great? Because it's one of the only fucking forms of free therapy in the world.
Well,
it's so anger-inducing. That should be free for everybody.
Do it with Protestant priests, but not there. You can't... It's not quite the same.
It's not the same. It's not as intense and weird.
Well, it can be weird. It can certainly be weird. Oh, they don't. The Catholics don't have a monopoly on weird priests. You just no. But yeah, no. Rerum Novarum is interesting because it prescribes forming trade unions and collective bargaining as an alternative to state intervention. So it's kind of syndicalist in a way. I don't know if it doesn't. No, it's not syndicalist at all. Actually, that's wrong. Because syndicalism would be like owning the company that you work for, right?
Yeah, it's guild. It's like a
I'm
guild
down with
system,
the ownership of the company you work for. I like partial ownership.
Yeah. I think everyone's down with that. That's a pretty hard one to argue against.
The private property people are not down with that.
Yeah, but it's like when you consider like a factory as a thing that produces things, and you're an integral part of it, even if you are a small part of it, it's just, try not to be alienated from your labor. You should have a piece of whatever you're producing.
A piece of the pie.
Proportional to the piece of what you produce.
A piece of the pie. Throw back to my pie discussion.
There you go. Exact cherry pie, disc of cherry, fucking cornstarch.
I have...
Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she's my cherry pie, cool drink of water, such a sweet surprise. She's my... So many Ginsburg memes. So many R.I.P. Ginsburg memes. In the arms of an angel, lay away from here. In the arms of an angel.
So anyway, back just one more thing, but let's go back to that article about how the Latinos are maybe
the Latinos
realigning
are going
to the
to
Republican,
Trump,
or at least more conservative, because it's all the Democrats really have to do is just say conservative stuff, and then
speaking of Catholics,
we know what both parties want, and that's just to make more money for the elites. Which it's just, who do you want the elites to be?
Who are they using? Choose your avatars. Choose your heroes. I feel in a way like there is sort of being an elite is sort of like a Republican idea, not like the Republican Party, but as in like as in we choose our gods. We elect our gods. They're still gods, and they still have authority over us and can crush us like bugs. And we have shrines to them in our houses, but we get to choose them. And that's sort of what makes America better than a country that chooses their gods based on divine right.
So this article in the Times about it says more than 60% of Hispanics agreed with the statement that we should have full funding for the police so our communities are not threatened by people who refuse to follow our laws.
Mm-hmm.
So they're pro-police.
Yeah, I mean, that's... Cypress Hill didn't say fuck the police. No, I'm sure Cypress Hill does not care for the police. But yeah, I think I also think the Hispanic community in America has not had I was about to say something incredibly stupid. They have had a historical reckoning with police violence, especially like in the South in the early days of their immigration. But I think what accounts for it is, do you think that Hispanic people are more upwardly mobile than black people, specifically because A, they want to see themselves as white, and B, because to some degree even like a Mixteco person can pass for white, to use a crass term. Like the reason why Jews got their white card is because they had light skin. They had very light skin, right? So it's easier to accept a Jewish person as a white person. Do you think any of it just has to do... This is a colorism argument I'm essentially making, right. Is that... Do you think it all comes down to the stupidity of how light-skinned you are? And, whether that affects your politics based on a system that, sort of makes it easier depending on how light your skin is?
I don't think so, but I don't have good arguments either way right now. So that's a difficult question. I mean, that is in essence the entire question. Is that real or not? So I mean,
does like this spirit of white supremacy undergird the very soul of our interactions, or is it just something that occurs in happenstance? Is it the cause or is it the symptom?
Yeah, it's very complicated.
Maybe a little bit of both.
I mean, that's our melting pot question of the day.
Yeah, yeah. Is it sort of economic venalness? You take a little venalness, you take a little racism, you take a little will to power, you take a little familial egomania,
well, I mean,
you smash it all together.
What do you think the Chicano movement would say? The Chicano movement from like the 60s and 70s?
the ones that don't identify them as specifically American Latin people, as opposed to like
El Movimiento.
El Movimiento. No, I don't know about Chicanos. I am unversed.
Well, I mean, that's where I would start in terms of researching it. It looks like they got totally screwed by COINTELPRO. Yeah,
COINTELPRO,
and it's like Cesar Chavez. But yeah, the Chicano movement experienced heavy state surveillance, infiltration, and repression from U.S. government informants and agent provocateurs.
Agent provocateur.
But
I know about Cesar Chavez. I know about the hunger strikes, and
so that's where I would start to answer your question. If it's in reference to how Hispanic people perceive themselves, because how they perceive themselves might be in fact tied to previous attempts at defying Anglo-American society and having it be beaten down. So that's where I would start. But Wikipedia is a poor place to start, unfortunately.
I mean, the assimilation thing is, I mean, that's the same problem why you remain in intractable cultural problems with, like, Israel and Palestine, or, say, indigenous people in Canada or black people in America, is that, to some degree, the quickest path to a lot of your problems is through assimilation, but that is death. So, you know, you can't. It's this like enticing thing, you know, to make all your problems go away. Just play by the rules of the dominant class. Just do it. That's all you need to do. And even if you do that too, it still can turn out shitty for you. But, you know, you still have in your head that light. You can always just stop resisting and just become Carlton.
Is Carlton that bad? Is he that bad?
I mean, there was even a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which was like where Carlton is like gets racially profiled, and so you know that's the other the whole black neoliberalism, the whole shtick of black neoliberalism. What Jay-Z articulates in the story of OJ in lyrics that I can't say, but basically
don't
saying
do a Bill
that.
Maher.
It's all right. I fuck a lot of black women.
He's
it's
the worst.
Okay. I say it to them while having sex.
No.
Bill Maher is real life Squidward.
Yeah, he is.
Who would be a good SpongeBob for Bill Maher? Pete Holmes. Is Pete Holmes bad? People seem to talk a lot of smack about Pete Holmes.
His girlfriends all do smack, I believe. Isn't that true?
There you go. What? Pete Holmes' girlfriends do smack?
Sure. I'm pretty sure.
What?
Pretty sure. Yeah. Oh,
what?
Yeah. That's totally not. I can't be sued for that.
He's not liable.
That's totally true.
Very true. Fuck it. Did you hear that Pete Holmes' girlfriend does smack? Jim Carrey's girlfriend did drugs and then died from those drugs.
Ooh, Robin Williams. Ooh.
Jim Carrey's girlfriend. Doing an overdose, turning blue. Oh, she's the blue meanie. She make Jim Carrey very sad. You know, I was watching. Speaking of classic comedy, I was watching Life of Brian, and it's very relevant to today. Or it's very interesting to see how some jokes land back then and some jokes land today compared to today, because a lot of like a third of the movie is dedicated to how stupid 60s student movements were, how stupid socialist student movements of the 60s were, and how bizarre they were, and how like these PC cucks had gone too far humor. Like, one of the main jokes in it is Eric Idle plays initially Stan.
He becomes a woman.
And he becomes Loretta. And then at first John Cleese is like, you can't have babies, you can't do that. But then in later scenes, they just accept it, and she's just Loretta now. And it's weird how that's like seen as a funny joke, but that's just, nope, that's opinion changed on that. But they don't sort of like, in Life of Brian, Stan says, he wants to biologically become a woman, which I think... one evinces the fact that they didn't really have an understanding of trans people back in the day, which is fine.
That's only recently developed.
Because, yeah. But, so you can't really fault them on that. But it's just weird how that's seen as an example of the Stan-Loretta dichotomy, is seen as an example of the excesses and breakdown of leftist culture, and how it's since become, that is mainstream left-wing, student activist.
I think
Zoomer
John
culture.
Cleese has become a bit of a pariah politically on the left.
Yeah, he's an old cranky. He was a Brexiteer.
Really?
What do you want?
Oh man,
yeah, of course he was. He's an old cranky weirdo. Yeah, I love John Cleese. Was always conservative though, and A Life of Brian is pretty conservative, because you could even say it's pro-colonial in its takes, where. Yeah. Because another of the famous takes is like, oh, what have the Romans ever done for us? Except for irrigation, roads, hospitals, yeah. Oh, don't forget the wine. Yeah, the wine. Yeah, that shit it's very funny, but it's almost like, unfortunately, if you think about it a little, the politics are sort of monstrous, where it's like, these people civilized these savages, which is why it's okay for them to brutalize them. But then, weirdly, 3 scenes later, they just show them killing Israelites without trials, and just crucifying them constantly. So is it that good? What is the point of this scene? What is the political motivation? And the political motivation is there's not really one. They're just trying to be funny.
Well, colonialism is basically just, here, no, you guys don't know the right way to be barbaric to each other. Let me take over and show you.
It's barbaric with more columns.
It's just a different form of barbarism that takes a little longer, maybe has a little bit more weird Caligula sex stuff, and it's the same result, which is, the rise and fall of civilizations it's a natural process that will occur.
Yeah. I feel like all the very naturally peaceful civilizations kind of may have gotten immediately wiped out.
I'm not sure there were any.
Wasn't that a thing, like Neanderthals tacked more towards peace? Or was it the...
There's no way to know. There's plenty of weirdo genetic race science people who like to make claims about Neanderthals. Like, well, actually, my race is related to the Neanderthals who were telepathic and peace-loving and had blue eyes, and they were smarter and faster and better at hunting and sexier.
Sexy big dick Neanderthal.
Great. What we actually know about Neanderthals is minuscule.
Except for the big-ass dicks.
We knew they had the big dicks because of the drawings in the caves. There was one stick man with the word N written above him, and it had a big penis.
Oh, man. Neanderthals, we love you. We love you. Shout out to Neanderthals.
My favorite Neanderthal take was that they were telepathic. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that.
That's
a
take?
Just
that's
like,
an actual take?
That's why I'm a medium, and I have proven Neanderthal ancestry, and that's why my tarot readings cost $19.99 as opposed to $15.99. Because my Neanderthal blood.
Yeah, I mean, I get the appeal of that, the idea of having the blood of a lost group of ancients. I think that's why, white people love the idea of having Native American ancestry. It's like, these people existed in the past, and they were magical and wise and had touch with nature. And Native people are like, we're still here. We still exist.
Well, it's a way of establishing...
We all like Def Leppard for some reason.
It's a way to establish your ownership of the land in a more, like, in a really weird way to justify us being here.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. It's sort of Locke in a way. If you intermingle, you mix your labor with the land. That's the old Lockean sentiment, which I always thought was very sexual. He always says, like, bust a nut in the land, dig a hole, bust a nut in it. Yeah. There, it's your land.
I've claimed it. I hope one of the astronauts on the moon jerked off and buried his semen on the moon.
Oh no, exposing my penis to the vacuum of space was a terrible idea.
Buzz,
it's
get
so
your dick
cold.
back in your space suit. God damn it, Buzz.
No, coming
Neil,
on the moon.
I'm going to come on the moon.
It's my right as an American. We got here first. It's going to have my cum on it.
I want to put my cum on the moon. Oh, man.
Coming on the moon. Fly me to the moon so I can come on the moon.
That old Frank Sinatra tune.
That old Frank Sinatra tune about coming on the moon. Old Jew eyes, they call them. Frank Sinatra was secretly Jewish. His original name was Sinatra.
I guess that makes how disappointing for Ronan Farrow.
Oh my God. You end up either way. See, that was my other thing that I was thinking about, is that the person that we know is Woody Allen has actually been Ruth Bader Ginsburg since 90, and it's Ruth Bader Ginsburg who's the pederast, and Woody Allen just died, actually.
Well,
no, but it's the Ruth Bader Ginsburg that we love is actually Woody Allen, and they switched places in 1983 because Woody Allen was getting bored of making movies.
I think maybe we should workshop that a little bit.
No, don't edit it out.
I'm not going to edit it out.
It's in there. People must know what I think.
The only thing I edit out
constantly.
is if one of us makes a mistake of uttering a slur or other loud noises such as stomping around. Anytime I'm physically abused, I try to edit that out.
Anytime the cattle prod gets affixed to you.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. So, Ruthie. Sorry, Ruthie. Sorry for making jokes at your expense. People get very upset. These opinions are my own.
Right.
They're my own.
Hey, what can you say? She should have retired when she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in 2009. But you don't have to. You got autonomy, and you don't have to do what other people say. And maybe she was not like super, super liberal. She was pretty conservative on some things. Maybe she wanted to have Trump replace her. Oh, wait, she said she didn't. Right. Well, damn.
I don't know. But maybe that was a psyop. She's riding elephants with Antonin Scalia. Right. She's all in there. They all have the same class interests. It's all the same. It's all the same.
I just hope rich people continue to tell us all what to do for the rest of my life.
Yes. Discipline me, Daddy.
Shower me with money.
Ruth Bader, I guess that's also what was inspiring about her story, is because she did come from dirt poor beginnings and basically worked her way up as a single mother.
She wasn't
at,
single.
Was it, Yale or
she
something
had a
like
husband.
That?
Yeah, he was just also in law school,
good for her.
But then he got cancer, and then she had to help take care of him when he had cancer, and help him with law school, and do her own law school, and take care of kids. So she was operating like a single mother, but he didn't die. He was okay. But yeah,
okay, that's
in terms of what
good
she was
Ruthie.
Influential on doing. She was very influential on getting rid of gender discrimination in the military.
Yes, Quay. Yes. Bomb them Arabs. Quay. Try and strike them down. Get raped in a shower in the military, Quay. Yeah. Get raped by your male soldier compatriots.
Not just other men being raped in the military. That's good.
Now women are being raped in the military.
I'm sorry. I didn't say I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Wait, who are you apologizing to?
Our military listeners? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's see what else. She wrote a lot of fiery dissents.
Fiery descents. That's what I call my poops after I've eaten Taco Bell.
I think that a fiery dissent for the Hobby Lobby ruling, where the government said that Hobby Lobby doesn't have to...
So fuck dissent. What fiery dissents? You mean ineffectual? Nah, I guess dissents are important dicta that people use to justify later opinions. They are important. I'm being glib.
She had a fiery dissent in Bush v. Gore, where the Supreme Court decided who was going to be the president.
A lot of fucking good it did. A lot of fucking good it did with Bush v. Gore. Oh, you had a fiery dissent. Maybe if I have a strident opinion, I'll just start being in an Australian accent. It seems to... If you have a dumb opinion, you can make it sound slightly more convincing if you are a drunk Australian.
She had a fiery dissent where they invalidated the Voting Rights Act. There's another fiery dissent.
Okay. A lot of good that did. Another dissent. So what I'm hearing is she wasn't a winner. What I'm hearing is she was a really sore loser.
The court has been conservative, I think, almost the whole time she was on it, so...
Yeah. It's really crazy how conservative the court got in the 80s and then basically just never recovered.
Well, who did Clinton appoint? I think Clinton appointed some real stinkers.
Clinton appointed Clarence Thomas.
What? Yeah, Clinton appointed some
Thomas
real
was
stinkers.
A Clinton appointee. Yeah.
But Clinton, he did...
There
Clinton
was another one.
Did not appoint Clarence Thomas.
Was Thomas H.W.? Okay,
Clinton
Thomas
appointed
was H.W.
Ginsburg and Breyer.
So,
Breyer and Ginsburg.
Breyer? Yeah, okay. Okay, so those are two goods.
It's so conservative. I think Reagan had a bunch.
Reagan had Kennedy.
And Sandra Day.
No, Kennedy was... Sandra Day, yeah.
And I think Rehnquist and Scalia. Yeah, Scalia.
Rehnquist.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how Reagan is how the court got
Clarence
that
Thomas
conservative.
was H.W.
Yeah, so... Man, if you have 12 years of power as a Republican, you can do so much fucking damage.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Because you know how rare that is to just have 12 straight years of power as a party? Like, I guess not since Roosevelt. And Roosevelt was so good that they had to cut the term limits dick off. I don't know why I'm using the dick. I shouldn't have used a dick analogy there. That was frivolous.
Dick. It's an important appendage. It's the only way we know so far to make more of us.
It's the only way that I can judge wind direction.
It's the only technology we have to make more of us. It's the dick.
Penis technology.
Elon, yeah.
What if I told you, what if something could fit in your pocket and then expand to fit in a small baggie? Expand to fit in a pickling jar.
Pickled dick. I call this meal pickled dick. What would pickled dick be as a meal? Yeah.
Pickled dick?
Yeah, what would it be?
As a meal?
What would it be?
I mean, they have pickled animal penises in cuisine.
No, they don't.
That's not like...
No, they don't.
That's not
no, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
Absolutely
no,
they
don't.
do.
No, 100% no.
they do.
1,000%. No way.
100% yes.
Prove it.
Pickled animal penises.
Okay, do it.
I'll prove it.
Okay, do it. I dare you. I double dare you.
I'll prove I'm pickling an animal penis. I'll cut my dog's dick off right now. Pickle it.
No, Diego, do not do it. No.
What?
No,
it's already
it's
useless.
You could pleasure him.
I'm not fucking my dog. I told you, if I told you once, I told you 1,000 times. I'm not fucking my dog. Okay?
Dude, John Malkovich.
If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times, I'm not fucking my dog, okay? No amount of money that you could give me, John Malkovich,
what about
would
a nice
sufficient.
silk robe?
A nice silk robe, John.
What about a nice silk robe? Would that convince you, John?
This has a very nice texture, but no, I cannot be convinced to fuck my dog. I have too much... John Malkovich, the actor, have too much integrity. He's a funny guy. I can see why they made the movie about him. As I think more about that Charlie Kaufman movie,
I stopped thinking about it. I liked our episode because I didn't have to think about. We got all the thoughts out. I didn't have to think about it anymore. I haven't watched anything since. I want to check out The Social Dilemma. The Social Dilemma. It's about how social media is bad, yo. It's about how it makes you dumb in the brain. Yeah. Makes you have
how else are we supposed to promote our podcasts?
How are we supposed to do to friends if I don't...
How can I be funny with my friends if I don't have little media device?
I'm starting to cry thinking about not having it.
The movie which I will watch is Lost Highway. I haven't seen that. They have all the Lynches on Netflix for some reason. No, I've seen it, but it's been a while, and I want to go back. I must go back.
Epic saxophone.
Kate, we have to go back to the island.
Some epic saxophone moments in that movie, I think, right?
Yes, funny. You are correct. Lost Highway, Careless Whisper.
A lot of Bowie. A lot of Bowie
Baker
music.
Street. A lot of Trent Reznor. A lot of Marilyn Manson. Yeah.
I think Marilyn Manson has a new album. Maybe you should do an album review of how terrible it is.
What is an album? Yeah, if we were to do an album review of new music, Manson would be funny. Does. What about Trapped? People like Trapped.
Apparently, the new hot guy is Playboy Cardi.
Is he? Hasn't he been the hot guy for a while? I only follow Cardi B and
Cardi
Megan
B's
Thee Stallion.
Different than
Playboy Cardi is like he's some sort of rapper.
He's not. I mean, he's a young guy. He's born in 1996. He 3 years ago was his first breakout hit, so he's recent. Yeah, no, he's the new guy.
Yes,
he's the new guy. Look up Playboy Cardi.
Yeah, but shit moves quick in the fucking hip hop industry. 3 years, you're already an old man. You know,
he's still it. I think.
He's still the guy. I thought Travis Scott was the guy.
I thought he was a McDonald's meal.
He is a McDonald's meal, but he's also the guy. He's also a Fortnite, and he's also Sicko Mode.
I thought that was the drummer from Blink-182.
No, that is Ruth Bader Ginsburg.